talk about what's happening on ground when vaccination comes. In Mumbai, there is a civic body that announces when the slot bookings will open for 18 to 44. And it gives you a little bit of heads up and alert if you are that tech savvy, and then you can go and play fastest finger first to try and get yourself a slot. The private hospitals don't even follow this timing. The private hospitals, when they feel like, open their slots, take in the appointments and shut it again. So you have to be thoroughly unemployed to sit and go through the portal day long, hour after hour, to check who's opening the slots when and where. Even that will not mean that you will definitely get your vaccine. If you've managed to get a slot, don't assume you will get the vaccine the next day. Example after example, including today, where people landed at the place and were told, oops, sorry, there was a technical glitch yesterday. We didn't mean to give these appointments. People have waited for hours together to get a hospital vaccination slot. People have reached that vaccination slot center in huge crowds and then have been told, oops, the stocks haven't arrived yet. The stocks are going to come. Oh, sorry, the stocks ran out. After they have waited for 5 hours, they have been told in cities like Mumbai and Pune that the stocks run out in this place. And so we can't help you, you will have to come back. The more horrifying part is, in some of these instances, they've actually got alerts, app alerts to say, you have been vaccinated, please click on this link to get your certificate. Not only have they gone there, wasted time, exposed themselves to COVID, not got a vaccine shot, they have come back to find out that in the system it is showing they have got a vaccine shot. It gets worse. According to a complainant in Pune, a sting operation was carried out that shows how vaccination slots are actually getting filled up even before the registration officially begins online. Even before the registration officially begins online. So frankly right now, just like the country was running around for oxygen, for remdesivir, using social media, WhatsApp groups for contacts and alerts, asking each other, that seems to be the system we are now following for vaccination as well. Why does it have to be so chaotic? And are there people who are taking advantage of this chaos? Who are taking advantage of the fact that they have connections in hospitals and thereby the slots can be given to them? Who are taking advantage of the fact that they can play fastest finger first versus an entire segment of our population that can't? Can we fix these issues? Can we fix VVIPs getting slots faster than the common people? And can somebody explain to me how that is happening? Let me say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now on this conversation. Dr. Om Srivastava, Director for Infectious Diseases at Jaslok Hospital and Research Center, member of the Maharashtra Task Force. Dr. T.P. Lahane, Director of Medical Education and Research from Maharashtra. Girish Kuber, Editor for Lok Satta. Girish, you know, a lot of these stories that we've covered, and I'm sure you have as well, actually point to a fact that there seems to be some kind of a collusion where even with an online portal and an online registration system, some people are getting favored and easily getting slots and others aren't.
It is bound to happen, because if you look at the root cause of this issue, it's not enough supply. When there are certain things which are restricted, when there is not enough supply, when there is a cap on the availability, so people with resources, contacts, and kind of a system to find a way out will have access to such kind of things. So unless we address the root cause, these things will not be removed. Those things will definitely be there as long as there is a shortage. So first, address the biggest issue, the root cause of this, which is non-availability of enough supplies of vaccines. So you address that. It's like, if you remember, then in your and mine, at least my generation old age, we used to face short, I mean, kind of a issue of everything, So milk, if a certain celebration, you have to have extra milk at home. You have to book it. Uh, Everything like rice, dal, everything was in short supply. So similarly, when after the green revolution, everything was ample in market. There was no hoarding, there was no black marketing, and there was never kind of a bypassing the system. When LPG was in short supply, people used to have special quotas from the MPs and MLAs and kind of stuff, even telephone. So it's all related to market. You open up things, make things easily available, these things will stop. So unless you address that issue, there is no point in addressing the offshoot of the problem. Real concern is short supply. Address that, everything will come to normal.
Yeah, and it's not just about ministers now favoring their own constituencies and sending a larger share of the vaccine to their constituencies, which is also horribly unfair and an unacceptable practice. But it now seems to be going beyond that, where influential people, businessmen, corporators are managing to corner the appointment slots and get vaccines for themselves and their loved ones. I don't understand, Dr. Om Srivastava, how does this work? We had an example where in Thane, in a builder's office, people went and got their vaccination shot. They knew the builder, they went via people into the builder's office, got a vaccination shot and came back. How is this happening?
Well, there are a number of reasons as to why this would be happening. Some of them have already been elucidated, so I'm not going to repeat them. But one of the solutions that comes to my mind is why not have a more transparent kind of a boarding system or a system outside a hospital where you say that these are the total number of vials that are available for dispensing today. These are the people who have been registered. It's like there used to be, people whose reservations are confirmed. That ends the issue. There is no question of whether or not you've got a slot for today or not. You simply put that up on a board outside the hospital that these 800 people have been registered today for vaccination. These are the total number of vaccines that we can dispense today, and that settles the issue. If you are registered, please come there, take your vaccine. If you're not registered for the day, please follow up with this board as to when your slot is going to be available. That's probably going to, I'm not saying it's going to fix the system, but it's probably going to put a lot of transparency in the conduct of how people can get their vaccines. And then there is no ambiguity as to who is getting it out of turn. So we have to think of those things that need to be done in a country like ours, where the total amount of demand and the supply is such a big disparity. Hopefully this will settle down, but it needs to settle down pretty soon.
Yes, and it's amazing that we're actually now looking at these kind of solutions, because Dr. Srivastava, when the whole conversation about digitization took place and saying, oh, we're going to have one portal, a common centralized system where you go ahead and register yourself, you choose your slot, you choose your timing, your location, and you get the slot, one would have assumed that that's the most transparent and non-invasive, interruptive way, least corruptible way of doing things. But somehow we've managed to game this system as well.
Quite true, we have. But then, look, like I'm saying, if you simply have a display for everyone to read outside a hospital or at some place in the hospital where it is accessible to everybody, then that settles the issue as well. I mean, you can't have an ambiguity about that as to whether or not your name is there. It is either there or it's not there. And if it is there, then you're entitled to it. Then you can take it up with the hospital to say, why am I not getting my shot today? But if it is not there, then you simply have to come back at a time when you find that slot available for you. So that may be available in an app that is on your phone or your laptop or elsewhere. But if it is there visible for everybody to read and see, I don't think there's going to be a lot of contest about what can be done from there. My feeling is this is the kind of thing that probably needs to be tried before a system comes into place, whereby this kind of thing gets shut out completely. Otherwise, until such time as we are able to vaccinate 2/3 of the country, this kind of chaos and confusion is probably going to continue.
But I have a small point to make. While discussing this way, I think we are assuming that each and
Yes.
everyone is having access to smartphone and apps. There is a large population which is out of this kind of a circuit. I mean, how are they going to do that? So we don't have any other mechanism other than that apps and. I mean, just consider a small village somewhere in Thane district also. I mean, you don't have to go very far, where there is no 4G, there is no phone, there is nothing. And how those people are going to get access to vaccine? I mean, this point, this aspect was never considered, I suppose, and that's not very fair for that.
Yeah, no, actually you're right, and this is something that we've also highlighted yesterday as well. We had Maharashtra Minister Aditya Thackeray on our show, and I asked him exactly this question. I said, it's fine if you think that you are giving us an hourly update by the BMC Twitter handle or the Pune Corporation Twitter handle to say, okay, slots will open now, or there is a glitch, come back in half an hour, these many doses available. But what is the percentage of people who are actually able to track that and get themselves an alert on Telegram to say slots are open now, so go ahead and book your appointment? Very bare minimum. And so those policies need to change, and individually the states need to look at different ways of putting the information out and enabling people to be able to come in. And I hope that once we have more vaccine stocks, at least that happens. Because right now, if we say walk-ins are allowed, hundreds and thousands will turn up, and we don't even have 1/10 of those vaccines in our stocks right now. So that could lead to a chaos. So maybe, hopefully, when there are more vaccine stocks, that system by then will be streamlined and put into place. But Dr. Lahane, how do we solve this problem? Shouldn't it be one common system where appointments open, slots open 1 day in advance or 2 days at a fixed timing across the board for everybody, and we have common access to that? जिस हॉस्पिटल का जब मन आ रहा है प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल का, वो तब अपने वैक्सीनेशन स्लॉट्स खोल रहे हैं.
What Giriji and what Om Srivastava told is, I agree with that. Secondly, what you are saying is when this, how this can be rectified. See, we are asking from Maharashtra that as it is a central app, for the 18 to 44, if the state is given permission, so that that can be rectified in the state, so that appointments and everything can be rectified. But see, as the Giriji very rightly said, that the number of the vaccine, that manufacturing the vaccine and number of the population, I think it is not matching. And because of that, in the May, we are knowing that the number of the vaccine is less. Unless and until the vaccine is procured, then only this problem will get solved. And I think for that, what Om said, that yes, there should be a list that these are the people who will be vaccinated today, so that whatever the people coming, that they will not come to the center. Secondly, walk-in is not possible today, and those people who are illiterate, for them also it is very difficult to go on the app. So for that, I think the state should be given the freedom for the 18 to 44 years of the vaccination, so that they can develop their own app or own system.
We have completely botched up the.
I actually wanted to, Doc.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Kuber.
Yeah, no, my point is right from the word go, we have completely botched up the vaccination, and whatever we try to do, we end up in another mess. So unless whole thing is completely restructured by the center, first it thought of controlling everything, and this centralized planning in size of a nation, of a continent like India, it's absurd, You can't micromanage sitting in Delhi. Number one. Number two, halfway you think of having states right to procure their own vaccine. But while doing that, you're not going to basically giving a free hand to states to procure their vaccines. Number three, right from day one, we have a very weak FDI. Like it's not like what the US has or the European Union has. We don't have our own great, very powerful, very efficient drug licensing system. It's for the indigenous market, it's fine. But when you are testing vaccines, right from very first day, it was very evident it's slow. So what happened to Covaxin? We allowed them in a taste mode. So even in this situation now, where there are 10 vaccines in the world floating in the market, we are not allowing them to enter India because we claim that we haven't conducted tests. But where is the mechanism to conduct tests? So it's a complete dichotomy and complete confusion at the central level, and we have mismanaged it very badly. And you and me are paying price for that. And as of now, it looks like no one is having any clue how to fix this issue now.
Yes, I agree with you, and I feel rather than actually having a clue and maybe getting on that same page, I know the task is difficult. It's not very easy to vaccinate such a large number of people. The demand for vaccination is growing amidst the second wave, and the states weren't even prepared for that. Suddenly, they have to look into all of these issues. But what can be the way forward? Let's try and get to that. Before that, Dr. Lahane, you and I have had conversations earlier about the Hafkin solution. When the state was demanding that Hafkin be allowed to manufacture Covaxin, the center finally gave in to that. But why is it that we are now being told that it will take a year for them to build the facility? I thought it will be faster than that. A year is too long a period, Dr. Lahane. Can't we fast track it?
Yes. I think what we are asking for the Hapkin permission, it is already granted by the center. And what the calculations were made by the commissioner from the Hapkin is that it will take a year because the machinery, the training, and then everything will require. But I think that can be reduced and fast track management can be done, because see, the need of the hour is to produce the vaccine. And so for the production of the vaccine, so this I think it can be, slight the duration can be reduced in the Hapkin production of the vaccine.
But the real issue is, Tanvi, it's very interesting. Initially, it was thought that Hapkin can do it in Mumbai. But when the state was realized that they can't do it, it's quite dangerous. Because just think about it, a small virus slipping out of the lab. So they have to have complete all-proof system. It's like a nuclear reactor where it can be produced, So that's why the decision was to shift it away from Mumbai. And that's also added to the time issue, because otherwise in Mumbai, it is another Wuhan happening. Imagine the catastrophe we will have to face, So that's also the reason which is adding to the time lag.
Yes, Giriji, that is also the reason,
Yes,
because
and
Mumbai,
I think if
Mumbai is very thickly populated area, and when we are now bringing that, you can say this vaccine here, so we'll have to also take care of the safety, biosafety. Biosafety is very, very important, and for that now we are thinking to shift it, and then the vaccine can be produced. But when it will be produced, it will be totally safe. Nobody will get affection like Wuhan, what has happened in China.
Okay, I understand that this thing probably wasn't really discussed or thought of earlier and has now come to the fore now. Very quickly, one last question, Dr. Srivastava, since you're talking about systems that we should streamline going forward. One of the systems that many tried, and obviously for very different reasons, was this token system. But it ended up being a clear example of how influencers, the powerful local netas, corporators use this private token system to then prioritize and favor the ones they wanted to. And the people ended up going to the same center again and again and again until they gave up and said, okay, this is really not working out. We have to also be vigilant enough to not allow these kind of systemic issues to creep in.
Yes, very true, Tanvi. Very true. I think if you simply look at any of the industrialized nations, they have all had systems that started with good intentions, failed miserably at multiple levels, and then the planners got back to refining that system. So it's not enough to say that, look, I've got a brilliant idea and here is a token. If that system is failing the common population, you've got to find another way to get around that, to make it more refined, to make it more fail-proof. And that is how you need to keep going. a lot of laws that looked very good to start with ended up being redundant inside about 5 years' time. So that is something that we probably need to be looking at how to adopt that kind of policy in our own populace, because India is unlike any other country in the world. No other country model can be replicated and made to be fitting into India because we have our own challenges. So if there is a system that is failing, I'm clear about this. You simply need to go back to the drawing board and make that system work for the common populace. The second thing that I'd like to quickly say is that we talk about the Wuhan outbreaks and biosafety level 2 laboratories. There is a laboratory in the center of Mumbai at a very densely populated place. It's a public hospital that runs a biosafety level 2 laboratory, has been running it for a number of years without a problem. I think that if you've got a system in place and it runs in the way it should be running, I don't think there is anything to get worried about. So Hafkins will probably be a superb place to not just go to a biosafety level 2, but also a biosafety level 3.
But why is that not happening then, Dr. Lane? Why are we then, if there are options available here, looking to build from scratch outside somewhere?
No, see, we are also taking care this all type of action, this options. It is not that it is just decided to go out or like that, but all the options we are looking into, and I think once it is decided, then we will go ahead for the vaccination production.
Okay, I am out of time here, but we hope that you're able to find a solution very quickly to this, because everybody was pinning their hopes on solutions like this to get more vaccines into the market. And now if it's going to take one more year to actually add to the vaccination stock, that completely misses the point of the urgency that we were looking at. Thank you to all of the panelists for joining us right now, because this is again a stark example of how, if we had collectively planned this earlier, how if we had looked at options of ramping up production from day one and not 4 months later, some of these issues would have been ironed out 6 months ago, and we would already be closer to adding more supplies into the market. But we haven't done so. The only hope is at least that there is some kind of acknowledgement now from our authorities to fixing this problem. And when they do that, the states also have to look at what's going on the ground. You cannot allow the rich and the powerful, the connected and the politically influential people to game this system. The whole point of having a centralized system visible to everybody was to ensure transparency. So how is it today then in our country, private hospitals are able to open vaccination slots and shut them when they want it without any transparency or a proper system in place? Does it not then leave room for them to be able to warn and inform their favored people who then get those slots? How is it happening right now? Then more and more segments of the elected and the corporators and their families are getting, while the common man is still struggling to get an appointment. How is it happening right now that in a builder's office in Thane, vaccines are being given to people that he knows, but not in the vaccination center? These loopholes have to be plugged if we want a fair and equitable vaccine drive in our country where everybody stands a fair chance. And of course, that means reaching out to a massive chunk of our population that isn't tech savvy or doesn't even have access to portals and apps and 2G, 3G or 4G to be able to register. The states have to get down to business and plan and sort these issues out. Thank you for joining us.